Planning the perfect 3-night, 4-day trip to New York City? Don't stress, I got you covered. This guide has everything you need. Must-see attractions, iconic food spots, where to stay, how to get around, and of course, plenty of time for shopping. I'll also be dropping some really helpful tips and tricks along the way, so make sure to stick around to the very end of the video to get everything you need. Let's make your New York City adventure unforgettable. Now, a few tips before we dive in is that you should try to book an arrival flight that lands between 12 p.m. and 2 p.m. This gives you enough time to check in, get settled, and ease into the city vibe. As for takeoff, aim for a later flight around 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. so that you're not rushing on your last day and can squeeze in a final stroll, meal, or souvenir run. Another thing you should know is that this guide is intentionally designed with convenience in mind. Each attraction is located close to the next, minimizing walking and maximizing your time. Everything is laid out in a set order to help you experience the best of the area without unnecessary backtracking. No need to stress about walking. We planned the route to keep things easy. With all that said and done, let's get straight into it. Alright, day one, you just landed in New York City. So at 3 p.m. is when you should enter the city, maybe it's by train, Uber, whatever. But just for now, this is when you should check in, drop off your luggage, and hey, maybe freshen up a bit. You might need it. Now tonight is when you want to see a world-famous Broadway show. And as we all know, Broadway shows are not the cheapest thing in the world, so to get a discounted ticket up to 50% off or even more, head to the tickets booth. Now there's one at Times Square or Lincoln Center, but heads up, the one at Times Square is the busiest. Although I went there and it was like maybe a 5-minute wait at most, and I got like 50% off tickets to Chicago. It was amazing. But if this is busy, you might want to head up to the Lincoln Center booth. Less crowded, and they're the same discounts from the Times Square one to the Lincoln Center booth. Exact same prices, no different. If you can't get Broadway tickets, try to get some off-Broadway shows. They're really good as well, obviously not Broadway level, but still enjoyable to watch. Now I recommend before you watch the show that you go back to the hotel and put on like maybe some better clothes. You're probably in airport clothes, so maybe like a little dress shirt or just something more Broadway-like. Now hopefully you scored tickets, so just enjoy the show. So afterward, you're probably a little hungry, so grab dinner at John's Pizzeria. Classic New York vibes and right near Times Square. And it's situated in a very beautiful scenery too. I'm pretty sure it's an old church, and the combination of beautiful scenery and delicious food will leave you very satisfied. Now after this, you should probably take a walk at Times Square, maybe snap some photos, take a walk around Father Duffy Square. This is usually the best place to take photos if you want to take photos. I took a lot of photos here. And yeah, just soak in the Times Square New York vibe. If you're a foreigner, maybe not even from the West, this is just like the place you want to go, Times Square. So just walk in, check out some shops, do whatever you want to do. However, there's one shop I recommend you check out. Check out Grand Slam if it's still open, which it should be. It's open quite late. And from my personal experience, it's actually pretty affordable, which is something that you might not see later on. So if you see a souvenir you like, grab it. You'll probably wish you got it earlier if you don't get it now. So after this, you got some free time. If you want, you can wander around a little more, especially if you're a night owl. But I'd personally recommend you go back to the hotel and rest up. You might need it for the day tomorrow. Let's be honest, you might have had a late night from the last night at Times Square. Maybe like the lights got to your head and you couldn't sleep, so sleep in a bit. You've earned it. After that, head to TikTok Tunnel for breakfast. It's retro and it's fun and it's close to Macy's. I personally ordered this delicious, I don't even know what it was. I think it was like sort of waffle with ice cream on it. It was very, very sugary. Maybe I shouldn't have had it. It was a lot of sugar, but if you are into that kind of stuff, have that. If you want more of American breakfast, they have that too. I think they have like omelets, all that stuff that you would want in a classical New York City diner. Now after this, head to Macy Herald Square for one of the biggest department stores in the world, and there's some really good shopping here. I think I bought some nice jeans here. Now after all that shopping, you might be hungry again, or maybe not, but regardless, you should probably head to Burger Joint. If not for the hunger, for the taste. Burger Joint is a hidden gem, literally hidden behind a curtain wall, not when we went there. Now from over here, you can head up to a little more shopping at Hudson Yards. Check out the shops, maybe snap a photo in front of the vessel if you want. You could head into the vessel if you want, but to me, I wasn't just appealing and I decided just not to go in there. But if that's more your style, maybe like architecture / art things, feel free to head up there. You have quite some time. You have a lot of free time now, so relax, explore nearby stores, whatever feels right. You know, if you want to grab a snack or you have another location you want to go to, here's some free time that I'm giving you that you can use. But don't stay too long, because then it's time for one of the best views in the city, Summit 1 Vanderbilt. Get there for the sunset if you can. I've heard it's magnificent. I went there for the sunset. I didn't see it because of the cloudy day, but based on the pictures online, it looks beautiful. Now you might ask, why Summit 1 Vanderbilt? Why not Empire State? Why not One World Observatory? Why not etc, etc? Well, Summit 1 Vanderbilt, from my personal experience and also from ratings from locals, they say that this place is the best observation deck, and when I went there, especially at night, I could definitely see why. It offers an experience like no other. While the Empire State Building might be an amazing tourist attraction, or insert any observation deck here, it is just that usually, just an observation deck. Summit 1 is an experience. It has 3 floors, the first 2 being an observation deck and the third one also being an observation deck and a bar. If you pay extra, you can also access this elevator that goes all the way to the top. I'm not sure it's to the very top, but it goes up much higher and it's see-through so you can see underneath. However, I wouldn't recommend purchasing it. It's kind of extra, and like the regular experience already has everything you really need. And there's also interactive stuff, like these things where there's a bunch of silver balls and you hit them up, some art, all this stuff that you don't usually get in an observation deck. It's a lot more to take in and it feels a lot more New York City. And hey, it's pretty modern, it's built pretty recently, so it'll give you the most up-to-date vibes. But of course the view is beautiful, don't get me wrong, especially at night. Wow. So for dinner, I'm giving you some options. If you're a little strapped for cash, grab Raising Cane's, traditional American fast food. It's delicious. I personally had that. It was amazing, especially as someone who's never had Raising Cane's before. It's delicious. The fries and chicken is amazing, and the little, what's that called? Garlic bread too, went together amazingly. However, if you're feeling a little more luxurious, or maybe you're here as a couple, or maybe even as a family, I actually have 2 options for you. You could go to Keen's Steakhouse, which is one I personally visited, or Gallagher's Steakhouse. Now, both of these places are revered steakhouses, known for their classic New York style, just meat. And like, yeah, if you want to go there for a nice steak dinner, I definitely recommend these 2 places. I'm not going to say which one is better tasting, because honestly, it all depends on your personal experience and what you enjoy. They're both very good places. However, what I will say is that Gallagher's Steakhouse is literally right next to our hotel. Like, it's literally right next to the hotel that I'm going to recommend later. So if you want something a little more closer and you don't want to walk that far, go to Gallagher's. But still, both of these places are amazing options, and yeah, I'd recommend both of them. And from here, take a little bit of night walk, maybe explore a little bit, you know, maybe go back to Times Square if you didn't have enough time the other day, or just explore other parts of Manhattan. And at night, it's really just lights up. It's beautiful, it's magical. What can I say? Welcome to New York. After this, head back to the hotel. You're probably a little gassed. I mean, it's a lot of walking, a lot of shopping, a lot of eating, you know, very tiring, but very enjoyable. Maybe enjoy a nice rooftop bar at your hotel. Maybe do a little bit of laundry, because you probably do need it. New York City isn't the most sanitary place on earth. Or do both. Whatever. Just rest up, prepare for a banger of a day tomorrow. A little bit earlier today, rise and shine, because boy is today gonna be a jam-packed day. So let's start off with a nice hearty breakfast at Pearl Diner. Very American style diner breakfast, very just delicious. I remember they made my chocolate milk by using the packet. That was super cool, but then they put something in, they mixed it. It was very good. Anyways, next up, I think it's time to check out the Oculus. It's just basically a classic New York City mall with a little bit of that architecture flair to it. Try to pick up some souvenirs here, as we are getting on to the later end of our trip. Next up, this is more of a personal recommendation than, you know, an actual like tourist guide spot, but I would check out Stussy, New York City. Now, if you don't know what Stussy is, it's basically a brand that's like more streetwear, you know, kind of skater wear, and all over the world they have places like Stussy Paris, Stussy Los Angeles, Stussy Tokyo, you know, all these places over the world where you can get custom made, well, not really custom, it just has the city name on the back, but it's just a very cool place to get some really cool merch, and I think the design's pretty nice as well. It's definitely for more of the younger side, maybe teenagers to young adults, and if you want to cop a pretty stylistic sort of modern kind of sweater or shirt or like even a hat, just drop by here. Now, of course, you might not be into this stuff, so if you don't want this stuff, just spend this as more free time. There's the 9/11 memorial right next to the Oculus, so you can spend the extra time here. This is more of a personal recommendation as somebody who is a Stussy fan. But don't take too long, because at 1:30, and I mean 1:30 because there's only 3 times and I think 1:30 is the best time, head to your Statue of Liberty and Ellis Island tour. This is going to be one of the big staples of your vacation. This will take around 3 hours. You get to explore the Statue of Liberty, Ellis Island, a bunch of museums, and yeah, there's just a lot to do here. I would definitely recommend buying this in advance, because the Statue of Liberty has a crown tour. You can head up to the crown, which I did not know you could do before. Like, you literally go into the Statue of Liberty and go into its crown. Isn't that crazy? And you know what the crazier thing is? It's the same price as the pedestal tour, so what are you doing? Book now before it gets sold out. But yeah, not much to say there. It's gonna be an amazing experience. I'm sure you enjoy it, especially like sightseeing it with a bit of a history, or maybe you just like taking cool photos. You'll just enjoy it, trust me. Unless you don't, then New York City probably isn't for you. After that experience, you're back on land, and it's time to head across the Brooklyn Bridge. So you can walk or rent a city bike. I would definitely recommend walking. You get a separate lane to yourself. I went there at sunset and I saw the sunset views there. It was just amazing. Wow. And then you get to see Brooklyn at a distance and like just takes your breath away, you know? And the walk is very refreshing as well, especially for those more athletically inclined. Following this, it's time to explore Dumbo, especially Washington and Water Streets. For those of you who love Instagram or just uploading photos or just taking them in general, this is a famous place underneath the Brooklyn Bridge where you can get some iconic photos. Now after this, I want you to head to Juliana's, one of Brooklyn's, no scratch that out, New York City's most famous pizza spots. The pizza there is top notch. But yeah, just take your time, just immerse yourself in this New York City / Italian cuisine, and yeah, enjoy your meal, savor it, relax. You're in the Empire State. After dinner, walk to Pebble Beach to take in the night skyline. You get to see the skyline at night with the bridge as well. And of course at night, the buildings just illuminate against the dark sky and it's just so picturesque and so beautiful. You don't even have to take a photo if you don't want to. Just enjoy the moment. But of course, feel free to take those photos if you want to. After this, you got some free time. If you want to explore Brooklyn a little more or take a train back to Manhattan and explore that a little more, it's up to you. If you're tired, just go straight back to the hotel. It's totally fine now. I'd expect it from all this walking today. I'd personally recommend resting up because even though tomorrow is your last day, your experience is still far from over. But before that, if you're watching this far in the video, that probably means you're enjoying it. And it does take a lot of work to make this kind of content, especially since I have such a small channel. So I could really use your support. And if you find this helpful or even just interesting, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment your favorite tourist attraction in New York City. Good morning, good morning. Welcome to your final day at New York City. So I'd wake up, pack, and check out by 11 a.m. I think that's a pretty reasonable time, and most hotels expect you to check out around that time, give or take a few grace hours. Now I want you to head over to 5th Avenue and get some last minute shopping done. Get those souvenirs that you haven't gotten before because you'll definitely want some souvenirs to remember this memorable trip. Now you should head up a little, like up to like, I don't know, I think midway Central Park, maybe higher, maybe lower Central Park, and get a classic New York City hot dog from Billy's Hot Dog Cart. This guy's been in the business for a long time, very highly reviewed. His hot dogs are known to be delicious. And trust me, this has been fact checked by many critics around New York City. And coincidentally, actually not because I planned this whole thing out, it's right next to Central Park. Now for Central Park, you really do want to take your time with this one. It's kind of like the Statue of Liberty where you really need that time to really enjoy the place. And yes, I'll link a guide in the description to how to see Central Park because that's not really my specialty. Just know that you'll need at least 3 hours to explore a good part of Central Park, at least the best parts, like Bow Bridge, Strawberry Fields, Belvedere Castle, etc, etc. And if there's some other stuff you want to see in Central Park, leave a little more time or maybe book your flight a little bit later so that you don't feel too rushed going to the airport today. From here, you should swing by the shops at Columbus Circle for any final souvenirs. Reminder, this is your last chance, unless you count the airport, to get any souvenirs. So buy as many as you want, eat your heart out, you want to remember this trip. Now from here, you should visit the New York Public Library and relax at Bryant Park one last time. These are both free, so don't worry about cost. And yeah, I did say that those are the last souvenirs, but maybe you can pick up a book here. I don't know if that counts as a souvenir, but whatever. And now it's time to head out. For me personally, I left and came using the Newark EWR airport, and I think it's much cheaper than the JFK one. So you want to catch the New York Express bus number 18719. And of course you could Uber, but trust me, this is much cheaper. I took the Express for around $25 American, whereas an Uber would take like $120 or more. So yeah, it's a much more affordable, and it goes straight to the airport. I don't think there are any stops, and it's just very fast, much more affordable than an Uber. Just make sure you know what gate you're going to. As you're leaving, take one last picture, one more breath, one more moment of this magical city. It's time to say goodbye. Okay, so where should you stay at New York City? So I've compiled the top 3 hotels in New York City. The most important thing is that you should usually get a hotel around Times Square. This would make it very flexible, and most of my itinerary is focused on the fact that your hotel is at Times Square, and this will minimize the walking and also just make it very convenient to check out one of New York City's most iconic tourist attractions. Now, I don't want to repeat myself for all 3, so all of these hotels have free Wi-Fi and a taxi and cab shuttling service, but honestly, try not to rely on taxis. They're quite overpriced. So the first hotel I'd recommend, the one I personally visited, and I can confirm is very good, is M Social Times Square. And it's located right on Broadway, next to Times Square, just like every other hotel on this list. And it has modern rooms, skyline views, and an amazing rooftop bar, and let me tell you, it's a really nice rooftop bar overlooking Times Square. Included in the cost is, I think, a couple drinks. I mean, I think we have the $10 budget for that. Take a drink up there. Maybe you want a cocktail. Maybe it's just a Coca-Cola and just take in the views, because it does have a view overlooking Times Square. It's a little distant, but still very beautiful. It can give you that ambient but busy New York style vibe. Now, there is buffet breakfast available. I would not recommend it unless you're in a rush. It's pretty expensive, almost as expensive or even more expensive than if you just went to any of the diners I recommended. Dogs and cats are allowed. There is an on-site fitness center, which is just a gym, and an arcade game room, but when I went there, the arcade game room was broken, and it's not that much. Now, my second recommendation for a hotel is Moxie Times Square. It's located on 7th Avenue and 36th Street, and it's also a short walk from Times Square. It has a trendy vibe, social spaces, and a rooftop bar with views, though I don't think is as good as the M Social Bar. It has continental breakfast available. Again, I wouldn't recommend it. There's also an on-site American restaurant. I don't know how good it is. And they do accept dogs. I'm not so sure about cats. And there's also a gym, open 24 hours. Now, the third hotel I'd recommend is Citizen M Times Square. It's located on 50th Street, a block from Times Square, and it has compact high-tech rooms with a stylish rooftop lounge. There is buffet breakfast available. Again, don't recommend it. An on-site restaurant, again, don't recommend it. And there's also a beauty spa nearby. If you have some extra time, you might want to check that out. Service animals are allowed, and it also has a gym open 24 hours. To be honest, any hotel around Times Square, given that it's not like an awful hotel, will work. You're not going to spend most of your time in the hotel. It's just going to be in the morning and the night. And just make sure it has comfortable beds and Wi-Fi. That's really all you need. So don't be worried if you're not getting the most trendy or most expensive or the most luxurious hotel. Don't fret too much over that. Just make sure that it's, livable and it's near Times Square. Location and just beds are the most important thing. Now, here are my top 5 most important New York City travel tips. My first tip, and probably maybe the most important tip, is to use free time wisely and leave room to wander. Now, I've deliberately left open space in this itinerary so that you're not too jam-packed to the brim of activities and you have some time to really explore New York City and check out some of your own things yourself. Even just walking around is a very, of course, affordable and just amazing thing to do here in New York City. Build in pockets of free time each day to explore local shops, grab street food, or stumble upon a cool view. Whether it's a surprise street performance in Central Park or a quiet corner cafe in Brooklyn, free time gives you space to experience the city like a local. My second tip is to learn the subway. It's gonna be your best friend because honestly, the taxis are very expensive and sometimes unreliable. And of course, you can't control traffic. The subway is fast, cheap, and reliable once you get the hang of it. Use Google Maps or the New York City subway app to plan routes. And don't worry, yes, it's a bit chaotic, but once you ride it once, you'll get the hang of it quickly. If you're from a city like me where the subway goes both ways, prepare for the shock. Subways have different entrances and exits for the northbound and southbound, eastbound and westbound, etc., etc. So if you walk in one, you can't have two trains going different directions. It'll only be in one direction. And yes, this confused me the first time, and I ended up going the wrong way. So don't make the same mistake I did. Now, my third tip is to be ready to walk. A lot. You'll easily hit 15,000 steps or more a day, so bring some comfortable shoes, not really dress shoes. This is not the trip for brand new sneakers or sandals. Subway stairs are frequent, and you'll be walking through parks, bridges, and neighborhoods all day. You'll probably wear out your shoes. My fourth tip is that the budget is more than you think. Surprise, surprise, New York City is not cheap. Expect to spend around $100 to $150 a day, even without going overboard. That includes food, shopping, transit, or maybe a show or a ticketed attraction. Bring both card and some cash, especially for smaller vendors or street food cards, because I personally picked up a couple souvenirs from like street vendors, and they usually only take cash. So make sure to bring some of those dollar bills to make sure that you can get these iconic street souvenirs. Now, my fifth tip is to book in advance. If there's something you must do, especially like the Summit One Vanderbilt, the Statue of Liberty, or a Broadway show, book online ahead of time. Time slots and tickets sell out very fast. The exception is Broadway, which I would recommend going to the tickets booth for some same-day discounts, but there's no guarantee what will be available. If you have some extra cash, I would recommend booking Broadway online. But just as a general rule of thumb, for New York City or just any busy scene in the world, book in advance. Don't leave it to the last minute. Now, maybe you've seen some Instagram reels, or maybe you've searched up online and that you've read that New York City can be dangerous. And that is partially true. Staying safe in New York City is all about being aware and prepared. Stick to well-lit, busy areas at night, especially around Times Square, Midtown, or other tourist spots. Keep your valuables secure and avoid flashing cash or expensive items in public. You can get pickpocketed. On the subway, stay alert, keep your bag in front of you, and avoid empty cars. Always ride with others. And this is important, walk with confidence, even if you're not sure where you're going, so you don't look like a lost tourist wandering around that just looks like a prime target. And if you need to check your phone or map and you feel unsafe, step into a store, especially at night. Save your hotel address on your phone and on paper just in case. And remember, 911 is for emergencies while 311 connects you to city services. New York City is generally very safe for travelers since it's such a busy and dense city that it's hard to get jumped in the broad daylight, but a little bit of street smartness can go a long way. And just like that, your perfect 4-day, 3-night New York City adventure is fully planned. From Broadway nights to Brooklyn sunsets, iconic pizza joints to skyline views, you're not just visiting New York City, you're getting the complete experience. Now I know this guide is a lot, that's why I've dropped every single attraction mentioned in this video down in the description, so you don't have to stress or rewind. And I'm gonna highlight the ones I really think you can't miss, so even if you don't get to everything, you'll still walk away feeling like you experienced the best of New York. On top of that, I'm including a full packing list down there too, so things that you might need, such as essentials, clothing, tech, and some things you might forget before it's too late, as well as a couple of my personal recommendations that I might have taken with me on my trip. And remember, New York City isn't about doing it all, it's about the unexpected moments that stick with you. So pack smart, walk fast, eat well, and enjoy every second. The city moves quick, but the memories, those stay with you forever. Thanks for watching, now go make your New York City story unforgettable. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you never miss a video. Got a tourist destination you want me to cover next? Drop it in the comments below. I'd love to hear your ideas. Safe travels, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.